So here we have the new Samsung Odyssey ARK. Ikodnas ova sezove next level shit. One word comes to mind: obscene. This thing is actually insane. When I first took this out of the box, I didn't know if I wanted to game, edit videos, or learn how to cook. Luckily, you can do all three. We have a 55-inch 1000R curved monster. This is as good as it gets in my opinion if you are looking for that all-in-one gaming monitor. But it's a lot more than that. This kind of feels like your own personalized gaming theater. Now it is expensive, so let's get this out of the way. $3,500. Yikes. From multitasking menus to integrated lighting, this is overkill even for interplanetary missions with aliens. Now while this is at the same time a smart TV, you can use this for managing a ton of projects. You can game, work, and catch up with your favorite shows all at the same time. Especially when you are using this thing in cockpit mode, which, by the way, did I mention this thing rotates? Immersive does get thrown around a lot in the gaming world. I feel like the new Samsung Odyssey ARK sets a new standard for the word immersive. Now the market for high-end gaming monitors does keep growing and we love to see it, but this is in a class of its own. I mean, anything that's even close would be somewhere half the price. The 34-inch Alienware and Acer that I own are curved monitors for gaming, but even those cap out at around $1,500. And to be quite honest, at this point, they don't even come close to this. Because of its size, when my dad saw this for the first time, he thought we added another TV to the collection. But thanks to its integrated lighting and 1000R curved screen, you can definitely see that this spaceship looks great from every viewing angle, and it does set itself apart from the rest. Now, the simple process with this is it does have a premium build, so I was never worried about it falling over or tipping over or being hard to use. Now the true excitement kicks off when you rotate this thing into cockpit mode, which is what you guys see right now. It's such a smooth and simple process, which doesn't really make sense seeing how its base weighs like 650 pounds. I'm not exaggerating. Do not do what I did and try to carry this thing by yourself. I almost pulled my back and almost tipped this thing over. It's not worth it. At this price point, just use two people, okay? Never did I have any worries about its solid foundation or premium build or anything like that. The only worry I'd have for me and for yourself is if your table will actually support its weight. That's the only thing I'm worried about. Keep that in mind. This thing is super heavy, over 100 pounds. Make sure you have a table that will support it. Otherwise, you're going to have to make an insurance claim. Furthermore, with a screen like this, you're probably thinking you'll experience a ton of glare. Now, I hate to disappoint the critics with this one. You have an all-matte display, which makes seeing yourself or any glare for that matter almost non-existent. Now in the box, you get that massive stand and display with the remote that looks similar to what I have with my 8K TV from Samsung. You also have one of Samsung's Connect boxes that powers everything, housing 4 HDMI 2.1 ports, one of which has ARK support. You have an Ethernet port, 2 USB 2.0 Type A ports, 1 USB Type B port, and 1 optical port for audio. Now you also have a headphone jack and USB Type-C port to power any other goodies you might deem fit. Now when I'm not overtaken by its sheer size and beautiful immersive screen, my attention gets directed to the desktop control panel that you have with this thing. That's right, you have a desktop control panel, the TV, a separate remote, and then you have the Connect box. There's a lot going on here. They call this thing the ARK dial. It's a notepad-sized remote which sits next to your keyboard and gives you full control of your display. It has a physical dial with clicking mechanism that feels a lot better than it should, as well as a solar panel for charging both the ARK dial and the remote itself. Don't worry, you can also charge both through USB Type-C if you decide to go ahead and live underground somewhere. Now, even for a tech junkie like myself, I did need some time to learn how to use the functions and learn how to use that ARK dial, which took about 20 or so minutes. But at the same time, there are two separate functions aside from general navigation, which are pretty sick. You can change your input screen size and curate your multi-view layout. Let me explain. I love gaming. I've been a pro gamer my whole life. There is no way I can play competitive Call of Duty on a 55-inch screen. It just isn't happening. But thanks to that dial, I have the ability to adjust the viewing size down to 27 inches. So now I can see the entire game in my narrow field of view. To take this a step further, you can rotate this thing into cockpit mode and have 3 27-inch screens stacked on top of each other. One to game, one to edit videos, and one to watch movies all at the same time. That's pretty sick. Now, as you guys can see here, you also have a cool setting to where if you are connected through HDMI and are playing your PlayStation 5, you have this cool graphic and a few different ones you can choose from above the PlayStation when you're not using it in that multi-view setting. But using the ARK dial, it does make it somewhat convenient to go ahead and adjust, say for example, your brightness. Say it's just too bright when you're playing, you can go ahead and do that and switch between, let's go to picture setup, and adjust it right here using the ARK dial itself, which makes it very convenient instead of having to back out of the game, go to the main menu and adjust it there. So there is a lot of positive features using the ARK dial. It just does take a little bit of time to get used to. And just like that, we're back right into the game. Now, another super cool feature with this is, say you are in multi-view like I am right now. I'm playing Call of Duty, I'm watching YouTube, and I have YouTube TV pulled up. If you want, when you go ahead and switch between the audio sources, say we'll go up to the top, it separates all the audio sources from each one of the segments in the multi-view. So I'll go ahead and I'll switch to YouTube TV now. We got Chevy up here. He's reviewing the new Volvo that he's driving around. And then we'll go ahead and we'll switch to TV. It's playing TV. And then we'll go back and we can adjust the volume specifically for the game that I'm playing. So we're back to Call of Duty now. As you guys can see, we're playing some Nuketown here. But what if you wanted to leave cockpit mode and play this in a much wider angled field of view? You would just take this and rotate it this way and you're back into a regular display and it gives you a full screen. Now, I'm going to drop this here just a little bit so you guys can see. But say, for example, this is where you'd probably go ahead and lose your eyesight playing this close on a screen this massive. You can actually go ahead, use the ARK dial, and flex move the screen to where you can make it a lot smaller, and boom. Now we have a 27-inch screen, and it's set, and you're right back to playing it with a much smaller screen, and you don't have to worry about losing your eyesight. At the same time, you still have that graphic playing in the background, which, like I said earlier, you can go ahead and change whenever you want. Am I getting DDoSed? What's going on here? There's no way. When it came to performance, the ARK is powered by Samsung's Neural Quantum Processor Ultra, paired with a mini LED 4K screen at 165Hz, which has a promising 1 millisecond response time, which I can actually vouch for. Having something this responsive and cinematic at this size brought a whole new level to the word immersive for me. It even packed a decent punch when it came to its 4-speaker sound system that's complemented by 2 woofers in the center. Thanks to Samsung's sound object tracking feature, the sounds seem to work really well at pointing the audio in the right direction to keep the immersive experience going. However, when I am fully immersed into gaming or editing content, I love using my SteelSeries ARC to Snow Pro Wireless, which is my current favorite gaming headset, or my AirPods Pro 2nd Gen through Bluetooth. Now, even though Bluetooth headsets are supported, and I am using my AirPods Pro 2nd Gen here, or even the SteelSeries headset here, once you pair them, you can use them to hear everything, but you can't use them yet to actually chat with people. It's telling you to use your Xbox mobile app, iOS, or Android to chat with your friends. So keep that in mind if you guys are planning on using some Bluetooth headphones. Thanks to the Bluetooth functionality, you can use external gaming headsets and earbuds with this display. But at the same time, the speakers you get with this thing sound absolutely amazing. Now, there are a few minor annoyances that I have with this display. You can only use one HDMI at a time despite having 4 inputs. So unless your console is connected to your PC, you have to pick and choose between the two. And then some streaming apps such as HBO or Netflix for now can't be viewed with multi-view. I'm kind of hoping that will change here pretty soon. With all that said, the Samsung Odyssey ARK is a monster in every way possible. Is it something you could live without? At $3,500, absolutely. However, would I want to? No. Every time I sit down in front of this thing, it makes it harder to walk away. It's changed the way I look at multitasking and handling my everyday workloads, especially when I pair this thing with my M1 Max MacBook Pro. But I'm curious to know what you guys think. Let me know down below where you'll also find the links to everything that we covered in today's episode. If you want to see more, make sure you follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DetroitFury. And if you enjoy this content, please make sure you smash that like button for me, subscribe, turn on your post notifications. It really means a lot to me. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in my next episode. Peace.